What's up, everybody? This is Zach with NerdK Plus for March the 13th, 2018, and I hope that your day has been excellent. If this is your first time joining us with NerdK Plus, we come to you each and every Tuesday around 7 o'clock, and we discuss all the video game news that you need to know from the last few days and anything that has dropped on this day. Of course, releases, all that good stuff. We are a live show on each Tuesday and Thursday, but to make it a polished podcast, we do not chat with the chat and everything. I know everybody loves that, but we do that during our video game segment where we actually play and everything and hang out with everybody. But if you want to talk to us, if you have a question, you can go over to nerdcavenetwork.com/NCP, drop us a line there. Got questions, put it there. If we mess something on the show up, put it right there. There's a correction spot, there's questions, and there's suggestions for the show. If you've got a segment that you would love to see on the show, if you need people to play video games with, there's a place right there. Suggest a topic right there. Boom, and it's done. That's how we do it. We are also available on podcast services around the world. That includes Apple Podcast, Stitcher Radio, and, of course, Spotify. So if you love your Spotify, you can get it right there. It's all there. It's all good. Well, of course, we have the live stream. We also have an edited video after the podcast is done, after the show is done, on YouTube. Has all the lower thirds and all that good jazz, if you like that. So, I do hope that everyone has had an awesome day. And without further ado, we're going to kick it into the news. PUBG's 2018 roadmap reveals new content, features, and the introduction of test servers. Players Unknown Battlegrounds 2000 roadmap unveils a slew of new content and features planned for the coming months, starting with PC test servers going live this week. The test servers will feature a new 4K4KM island, I guess that's 4x4 kilometer. There you go. That makes way more sense. Island map that is significantly smaller, providing a fast-paced and more intense experience compared to the usual fare with shorter matches and higher player density. The vehicle and limb penetration system is being postponed to iron out a few kinks, but everything else will be live in the test servers as planned. The update was initially delayed as the devs sought to tackle cheaters, who have been a thorn in the side of the game for months now. So they did roll out the cheater kind of thing where they were trying to cut down on the amount of cheaters, but with that update, there are a lot of connectivity issues that were introduced with the game. So they pulled that back. They're trying to see what's going on there so everybody can still play and everything. So right now they're still dealing with cheaters, but once that update is ready to go and they push it out there, then cheaters beware. PUBG Corp is coming after you. Emotes will also be making their way to the test server soon, with more becoming available further into the year. Achievements, in-game friends list, and squad voice chat in the main menu will also be rolling out in the test server. So there you go. There's a lot of new stuff, like kind of like quality of life stuff right there for you. Emotes, I'm curious to see how that works within the game and everything. I know a lot of games have emotes essentially, but having the voice chat, I didn't even know they didn't have voice chat in the like party or whatever, like in the main menu lobby and everything, which is interesting. New vehicles. I was trying to say vehicles, but I was reading weapon. New vehicles, weapons, and weapon attachments are scheduled for the first half of the year, so we can hopefully see those new materials before June. Other planned features that we can't get our hands on just yet include new game modes, which I know a lot of people are excited to get some new game modes, an 8x8 kilometer map, and a parachute and weapon skins. The parachute system is getting an overhaul to make it more responsive and polish up the animations, and there are some big changes on the way for TPP and FPP animation systems too, to make them smoother and more reactive to the environment. So if you are a PUBG fan, there's a ton of stuff coming out. I know right now a lot of people are jumping onto Fortnite, but PUBG is still huge. And I think with the updates, making it more stable, making it look better and run better is definitely a good thing. And then, of course, introducing test servers where they can test things without affecting all of everybody's games and everything, I think that is something that's definitely needed. I know Overwatch does that a lot with new characters, so they're not in the ranked matches and everything, so they're not affecting people's rank, because of course when you introduce something new, it's not going to be as balanced as it needs to be. They do their best job, but people find things that they never would find. They'll do things and all of that. So once something goes in the wild, it's a little bit easier to see what the players are going to do. So having test servers is definitely going to help PUBG get better and better. And then once they start culling out all the cheaters, it will be even more fantastic. Now, something that was kind of out of nowhere success, which I knew it would do well, but not as well as it did. Crash Insane Trilogy will be coming to not just the Switch, but the Xbox One and Steam in July. Nintendo happily reported the remaining trilogy of Crash Bandicoot's first few games are coming to the Switch. But Activision has announced that the collection is also coming to Xbox One and PC as well. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy will release on the Xbox One, PC, and Switch on July 10th for $39.99. Now, Activision kind of had a runaway success with Crash Bandicoot, if you don't know that. It originally, of course, made by Naughty Dog and all of that good stuff. And Crash Bandicoot was such a huge favorite PlayStation mascot. Even went out in front of Nintendo's own headquarters and was yelling with a megaphone to fight Mario. That's how awesome Crash is. And if you didn't know that, well, there you go. There's a little tidbit of knowledge for you. Crash has always been awesome. And I'm glad that more people are getting the chance to play it, especially because it's such an older game. Like, I played it on the PlayStation 1. Crash 2, still my favorite one, other than Crash Team Racing. Please, Blue Point, be working on that, which we'll talk a little bit later about. But having it be available on all the consoles was eventually going to happen because, yes, Activision is a third party. Why wouldn't they put it on the other consoles? Yes, PlayStation does have the most consoles, but PlayStation is not paying for an exclusive game. They're not paying for, like Insomniac making the Spider-Man game. They're not funding it. They're not doing any of that. So, of course, Activision is going to bring it to all the other consoles, which to me feels wrong and dirty because Crash is a PlayStation mascot in the same way, but can't fault Activision for, essentially selling all of this on the other consoles and getting more people involved in the game, because Crash is something that everyone should experience some point in their life. Now, I know the title of this episode is based on this article. I'm going to prove what I think is happening here, okay? Super Smash Bros. Creator confirms he's working on the Switch version. Smash Bros. Series creator Sakurai has confirmed that he'll be working on the new title for Nintendo Switch. Although we're barely at the stage where we've only announced the title, I've been quietly working on it day after day, Sakurai said in a tweet translated by Silicon Era. Please wait until we can reveal its contents or until the time of its release. For me, I think, yes, we've gotten a lot of ports of games recently, but it's been a while since we got the Wii U version of Smash. I think it was 2013, if I'm correct. I think it is, that we got Smash. Of course, they're going to be working on something. They knew the Switch was coming for a very long time. That's why they pushed Zelda over into the Switch side of things. They pushed Mario, of course, completely into the Switch side of things. And, of course, they would also know that Smash would need to come to this. So I think, in my mind, that we're going to be getting a brand new Smash. New maps, new everything. I, of course, will get the staples, Zelda, Mario, and all that. But I think we're going to be getting a lot of new stuff. If it is a port, which I hope it isn't, I hope we're getting a brand new game. I can see them adding a lot of stuff to it, not just the DLC, but actually adding more on top of it. And I know a lot of people are wanting all these different kind of characters in the game, which would be awesome. And I heard over at Kind of Funny, Tim was talking about it. I think it would have been on Friday's show of Gamescast. It's their Games Daily show. They were talking about that each of the crossover characters that they've had that are non-Nintendo characters have actually been from Japanese developers. So you've got Pac-Man, you had Metal Gear Solid, you had Snake in the game, you've had several other ones, but they've all been, Bayonetta was another one, but they've all been developers that are based in Japan, and I think Sakurai is going to be, and I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, I think that's going to continue to be the trend. So if you're looking for a crossover character with like Kratos or something weird like that, which makes no sense at all, but if you're looking for like a third party, like a Ubisoft game or an EA game, I think you're looking in the wrong place. I think we should be looking at a Japanese property. Monster Hunter would be perfect right now because Monster Hunter is just gangbusters, and the game is coming out this year, so having a company like Capcom, which is essentially a Japanese-held company, it would be awesome to see a Monster Hunter character in there, as well as a level that is based on Monster Hunter. So who would you want to see in the new Smash Brothers? And I think it's going to be a new title. That's just my opinion and hopes and dreams, but we will only know when E3 comes around, when we can see more of it. Who would you want to see in the Smash Brothers game for Switch? And are you excited? I know I am. I know I can't just wait to get on there and just... I'm not even a Smash player that much, but I got a Nintendo system now, and I'm ready to just like learn how to kick butt and do all of those cool things. Now, did not expect to see this news today, and I'm actually happy to see it because this is one of my favorite franchises for a very long time. It definitely is my brother's favorite franchise of video games. Kind of reminds me of Siphon Filter back in the day, at PS1 and all that. Me and him played way too much of that game, but loved every minute of it. There has been a new Splinter Cell spotted with hints at an E3 2018 reveal. Looks like Amazon may have leaked a new Splinter Cell from Ubisoft. A listing has just appeared on the Canadian site for Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell 2018. There's no box art, images, or anything like that, or further information, though check out the item model E3 Tom Clancy Splinter Cell 2018_PC. That's what it's listed as. So that kind of suggests that E3 is going to be kind of the big reveal of this, and we haven't got Splinter Cell since Blacklist, and Blacklist, I've played every Splinter Cell. Blacklist is probably the worst one, in my opinion. The first Splinter Cell, ridiculously hard. Extremely hard. That's back when stealth games were, like, if you weren't stealthy, you died, pretty much. But as the games have progressed, like, yes, Double Agent, probably one of the best, in my opinion. The one after that, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, it was really good as well. Blacklist dropped the ball because it felt very rushed and very understaffed. And I think they even dropped David Irons as the voice of Sam Fisher, which made no sense to me. Irons is just such an awesome voice actor. I might have said his name wrong. I know his last name. Jeremy Irons. No, not Jeremy Irons. I don't remember. I know his last name. Ironside. That's his last name. Whatever. He's a good voice actor. You've seen him in a bunch of movies and everything. He's got a cool voice. They dropped him. They rushed it through. I remember playing with my brother, and I'm like, this is bad. Like, we had fun with it because me and my brother always play the co-op stuff and everything. Had fun with it, but it looked like garbage. It played like garbage. It definitely didn't feel like it was a AAA third-party game from Ubisoft. It felt like it was given to some random team to make, and they were given $5, and they went out to lunch, and then they had to make the game. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope that they put everything into this, but it also brings up the question, how are they going to make this happen when they've got almost everybody in the world working on the Division 2? So I hope that we don't see another Blacklist happen with Splinter Cell this time, because they are ramping really, really hard right now with Division 2. And I know a lot of people are kind of saying, oh, Division 2 is going to be this year. It could happen, but them just announcing it feels unlike Ubisoft. They like to announce things very far in the future. So I'm curious to see where Division 2 places. But there's like 4 or 5 actual studios working on Division 2 right now, so I'm curious who's going to be working on the new Splinter Cell. Now, on to something I hinted at a little bit earlier in the show. Blue Point Games, we talked about this in the last episode, is definitely working on a new game. But it's not just a new game, it's another classic game. Its critically lauded remake of Shadow of the Colossus gained much praise, but Blue Point is naturally already on to the next project. And as PlayStation Universe discovered back in February, it does appear that the project is a remake of another classic game. A fact now further confirmed by Blue Point itself when asked during an interview with Digital Foundry if Blue Point was open to working on a brand new game next. Blue Point's president and co-owner Mark Thrush remarked, "Well, we could, but we're doing another remake." A lot of people want Blue Point to make a game themselves, something that is brand new IP, and that's something that is not a remake or, refreshing an idea. We've seen them make a ton of games. Of course, Shadow of the Colossus is the newest one, and it is superb. It is superb 100%. But they seem to be right in the wheelhouse that not a lot of people are, and they do such a good job that people want to see their games refreshed. Blue Point, of course, is not owned by Sony, but has been doing games that are Sony-based, essentially. I'm curious to see what their next title is. There's a lot of rumors floating around. It could be Mass Effect, which I know Derek Daniel brought up the point that, EA said that they would never, remaster Mass Effect and everything. I don't think they'll say never forever, but I think they might eventually, and especially after Andromeda did not do as well as they had hoped. That's definitely a possibility, but I think the thing that is more possible or more probable is a Sony-based IP, and it could be Demon Souls or even Dark Souls, but Demon Souls is owned by PlayStation. They own that property and everything, so that could be something that they remastered just for PlayStation again, and it could be something that a lot of people get a hold of. I know a lot of people want Team Ico. They want Ico to be the next remaster and everything, which I know we got a remaster several years ago of the game, but that would bring all of Team Ico's games, Last Guardian, the Shadow of the Colossus, and Ico into the modern era of video games and everything. So what do you want to see Blue Point remaster, since they are pretty much the masters of remasters? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm curious to see what everybody wants to see. I would love, I mentioned Siphon Filter earlier. I would love a Siphon Filter game, like a new one, not like a crappy one. Like, the longer that series went on, it got worse and worse. But the first one was cool. And of course, nostalgia is clouding the mind and everything, but I enjoyed so much what they were doing in that game. So it'd be very, very cool. Time to talk a little bit about our sponsors. Today's sponsors are patreon.com/nerdcave. You can go support us over at patreon.com/nerdcave. You can get content early just for $1. You can toss more dollars, get more things, more awesome things, just like our Patreon producer of this show, Caleb Palmer, did tonight. He went over there, he tossed us a few dollars, and boom, he gets his name called out in every show. That's pretty awesome. But we do have a ton of shows, not just Nerd Cave Plus, which I love this show. We have Nerd Caves and Dragons. We have the Nerd Cave podcast. We have a ton of stuff. We have impression videos. We have review. Well, we don't do reviews. We have impression videos. We have first looks. We have unboxings. We have a ton of stuff that we do all on both of our channels. So if you're interested in that, please go over to patreon.com. Toss us a few dollars. Make Robbie holler. And it keeps all the lights on, and it keeps us moving forward and not standing still. I don't like standing still, everybody. All right, into game releases. Now, the next Blue Point game is probably a few months out. They crank those games out like nobody's business, but they're good at it. If you wanted to know what has already come out, what's coming out today, and what is going to be coming out, you come right here. Game releases for yesterday, since we didn't have a show yesterday. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, The Deeds of Captain Wilkins DLC is out on the PC. Now, for game releases that are out today, as you hear it, this is March 13th. The 25th Wars, The Silver Case, PlayStation 4 and PC. Armorilla Physical Edition for the PlayStation 4. Assassin's Creed Origins, The Curse of the Pharaohs DLC for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Beast Quest for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Coffin Dodgers for the Switch. I'm taking it, you're dodging coffins. Or it's a really hard game, and it's very challenging, and you die a lot. So you have a lot of coffins. Who knows? The Council, Episode 1, The Mad Ones for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, this game, I've been very curious about this game, and I watched some reviews for it. Excuse me. If you like Telltale games, this might be up your alley. And no, they're not a sponsor. We didn't get a code from them or anything like that. This game looks interesting. You've got people you've got like George Washington there. You've got the Pope. Like, you're interacting with all of these extremely historic figures and influence of the world. You play this guy that is trying to find his mother, and you're invited to this island. I know it sounds weird. Just hang on with me for a second. And you are trying to find your mother at this island. You're part of this secret society, essentially. Golden something. I can't remember. Anyway. So you're trying to find her, and instead of like combat, essentially, where you're like shooting something or you're hitting something, your combat is all based on dialogue choices. And you get blunders and all of this, but you are trying to match wits with all of these people. And for the most part, it looks really, really cool. The voice actor for the main character, unfortunately, it looks like they just got Jim Bob off the street. It sounds like they got Jim Bob off the street and just had him read some lines. But from the other characters, though, it seems very, very good. I'm curious to see what it's like, and it's episodic and everything. So if you're looking for something to kind of tide you over into the next Telltale game, then this might be the one for you. So there's my little spiel on that. Didn't want that one to just kind of go to the wayside. It looked really interesting to me. Cruise Brothers for the PlayStation 4, PC, and Mac. I hope that they're cruising through the USA. Danamaku Unlimited 3 for the Switch. I guess I said that right. I don't have anybody checking me tonight. Devil May Cry HD Collection for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Gollum for the PlayStation VR. Now, that's one of the PlayStation VR games that I really want to play and check out. So hopefully it's really, really good. Haku Ukai. Derek even gave me like a way to say it. I'll try again. Haku Ukai Edo Blossoms for the Vita. Vita lives! And the PC. The Long Reach for the PlayStation 4. I'm hoping that's about the law. The long arm of the law. Pure Farming 2018. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Cube 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. I wonder if they'll make a Cube 3. The Raven Remastered, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Mac. Spiral Splatter, Xbox One, and Switch. Tesla vs. Lovecraft for the PlayStation 4. And Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, The Deeds of Captain Wilkins, available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And for tomorrow, March 14th, The American Dream for the PlayStation 4, Rift, and Vive, and The Long Reach for Xbox One, PC, Mac, and Linux. So there you go, guys. There are all the releases for what was yesterday, today, and what will be tomorrow if you're listening to this on March 13th. That's how it works. So if you listen later, these have all been out for a while. Only one or two weird names. Maybe me berating developers. No, I'm sure there's going to be weird names. The more I say these names and everything throughout all of this, I find, like, what are these games about? Like, I almost want to create a section where I take the weirdest name and, like, try to explain the game. Like I did the passive Fist or the Pacifist. I heard Greg Miller talking about it, where it is a side-scroller kind of 16-bit beat 'em up kind of thing, but the whole time you're trying to dodge your opponents and build up a stamina meter where you use against the boss, and you tire out your opponents. I thought it was very, very interesting, and Allie showed me some of the artwork and everything of it, and it looked really cool. So there's a little bit for that. Well, there you go, everybody. That's it. Episode, I don't know the number. This is from March 3rd, the 13th. All that good stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please go check out Nerd Caves and Dragons. We put up the second episode over on youtube.com/Nerd Cave Network. You can check it out there. It's awesome. It's funny. We talk about a tap dancing contest and everything. You can get the third episode right now over on Patreon for $1 early. It's been out for a while on early access and everything. Next Monday, it will be coming out to everybody else. And then the fourth episode will go live on Patreon and all of that good stuff. So we do put all of our early access up for a week, sometimes longer than that, just to give you a bang for your buck and everything. But check out that show. It's a ton of fun. Allie puts in a ton of work into editing the show and everything. It's hilarious. It is so fun to play Dungeons and Dragons with everybody. Amy, she deals with me and Robbie a lot. So does Allie, but it is a ton of fun. And if you haven't watched the first episode, I would suggest starting there, so you learn, like, you see the progression of everybody getting into character and everything. Because if you don't know, I am Pandarax the Destroyer in that show, and I love every minute of it because Pandarax is just so fun to play as. But there you go, everybody. There is the episode from March 13th, 2018. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Share it with somebody that loves some video games. And definitely go over to podcast services. Subscribe right there. It helps us a ton. And then leave a review. Leave a 5-star review saying, hey, I enjoyed this. I learned something about video games, and I feel good about myself, because that's what I want you to feel. I want you to feel good about yourself. And we'll be back on Thursday with more stuff. We're going to be playing some video games after this. But for this podcast, I've been Zach. Have a week.